A few years back, I was in a stressful financial situation where I couldn't pay my payments and they continued mounting. You are aware of how stressful it may be if you have had a similar situation. I eventually was able to crawl my way out of this predicament though, and I am here to give some advice, suggestions, and techniques that will assist you in doing the same. So pay attention. Please press the like button and subscribe to my channel before we begin. I appreciate your support and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. The first piece of advice is to monitor your expenditures. Although you've probably heard this a million times, it still works. Every dollar you spend needs to be justified. You may find and get rid of wasteful spending habits in your financial life by keeping track of your expenses. It also encourages healthier financial behaviors like investing and saving. In the words of Peter Drucker, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Determine which of your expenditure categories are most important by analyzing them. Reduce non-essential spending and opt for cheaper hobbies. Along with saving money, you'll gain knowledge about personal finance. Create a budget is the second piece of advice. Prior until recently, I had no idea why individuals avoided budgeting. Even while it can seem like a lot of work, it's worthwhile. Consider the advantages and how they may help you. Once you find a rhythm, stay with it. Maintain your momentum. A budget that is put aside serves no purpose. Continue examining and updating it. There are free digital tools like software and applications that help simplify this process. The third tip is to give yourself a limit on unbudgeted spending. Impulsive purchases may be emotionally satisfying, but they're the opposite of good money habits. Try using the 1% rule. Wait a day before buying anything that costs more than 1% of your yearly gross income. This guideline applies to discretionary spending on items you desire but don't need. The 24-hour cooling off period gives you time to reconsider your purchase. After 24 hours, you may not want it anymore. To save for major purchases is the fourth piece of advice. A big-ticket items marketing does not obligate you to purchase it right away. Keep the 24-hour rule in mind. Use your savings account designated for such expenditures if you truly desire the item. In conclusion, it takes time, discipline, and work to climb out of a poor financial condition. Keep a record of your expenditures, create a budget, set spending limits, and set aside money for large purchases. You may enhance your personal finances and reach your financial objectives by using these methods, ideas, and techniques. 5. Establish a reserve money. A financial safety net known as an emergency fund can support you in the event of unplanned costs. Without one, you could have to resort on loans or credit cards to pay for the bills, which might result in debt and financial instability. Determine how much cash you would require to cover 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenditures before beginning to build an emergency fund. Included in this should be any required costs, such as rent or mortgage payments, UTIs, food, and travel. Start putting money aside each month once you have a target sum in mind and continue doing so until you have reached it. Having an emergency fund can provide you peace of mind and help you prevent future financial calamity, albeit it can take some time. 6. Pay off debt with a high interest rate first. Prioritizing which debts to pay off first is crucial if you have several. One tactic is to concentrate on clearing the bills with the highest interest rates, like credit card debt, first. Long-term interest savings and more money available to pay off other debts are both benefits of doing this. Making a list of all your loans and their interest rates is the first step in putting this plan into practice. Then, while making the minimum payments on the other debts, concentrate on paying off the one with the highest interest rate. After the debt has been repaid, move on to the one with the next highest interest rate, and so forth. 7. Eat at home. It may be more affordable to eat at home. You may save money by preparing more meals at home and cutting less on takeout. While treating yourself to a fancy restaurant once in a while is acceptable, creating and adhering to a weekly food plan can help you save even more money. Even if you don't think of yourself as a cook, the internet is a great resource for recipe and culinary guidance. Make an effort to cook at least one meal at home each week and pack your own lunch for work. Your ability to save money will amaze you. 8. If you want to better your financial status and open up new prospects, paying off your debt should be a top priority. It may be quite expensive to carry a lot of debt, especially high-interest credit card debt. Make a list of all your current bills, such as credit card debt, school loan debt, and auto loans, and figure out the minimum payments needed for each one before you do anything else. Calculate how much of your discretionary budget you can set aside for debt repayment, because making simply the minimal payments will not help you get out of debt quickly. You might try asking your issuer for a lower rate, combining several loans into one, or transferring high-interest debt to a low-interest credit card, such a balance transfer card, to reduce the interest rate on your debt. Following these actions, plan your debt repayment strategy and establish prudent spending practices to pay off your debt as quickly as possible. The more money you have available each month, the quicker you can pay off your debt. Remember, since credit card debt accumulates over time and is difficult to pay off, paying it off should be your top priority. 9. Stop using credit cards. While credit cards can be a practical and convenient tool, those who lack self-control or depend too heavily on them may also experience financial ruin as a result. If you keep using credit cards as a crutch because you're having difficulties making ends meet each month, you'll soon find yourself in debt and unable to reach your financial objectives. Stop using credit cards entirely if you want to regain control over your finances. Consider making a budget that permits you to pay using cash or debit cards to prevent piling up extra debt. Alternatively, you can leave your credit card at home and open a short-term savings account with the money to use for large purchases. If credit cards with high interest rates are not utilized carefully, debt may quickly build up, which can be quite stressful in an emergency. Because they feel like their money disappears too quickly each month, many people form the bad habit of relying on their credit cards. But it's crucial to break this cycle and stop using credit cards as a means of payment exclusively. It's preferable not to use credit cards at all unless you have the knowledge and experience to use them safely. Spend less money so soon. A spending fast can be just what you need if you're battling with credit card debt, missed payments, or other financial problems. A spending fast basically entails foregoing all non-essential expenditures for a predetermined amount of time. This is a fantastic strategy to cut back on your expenditures and organize your finances. Even while it can appear difficult, it doesn't have to be. Did you know that you may use comparable fasting or cleaning strategies to your spending and saving habits to attain financial wellness? You may be aware with detox or cleansing fasts for your health, such as giving up sweets or gluten for 30 days. Usually lasting a month, a spending fast entails restricting expenditure to necessities including food, transportation, and recurring expenses. Take on this challenge to alter your behaviors and decide what you actually need rather than simply what you desire if you're ready to simplify your life and increase your financial account. A spending fast might be a terrific approach to kick the habit of overspending on things that aren't absolutely necessary. During a spending fast, you make the decision to refrain from making any impulsive purchases for a predetermined amount of time, often at least 1 month. This can assist you in locating areas where you are overspending and informing healthier financial habits. Determine the guidelines for your spending before you begin. Decide what costs, such as those for food, lodging, and transportation, are necessary and will be permitted throughout the fast. Create a list of your discretionary spending, such as clothing, entertainment, and eating out, that you'll forego throughout the fast. Tracking your expenditure and adhering to your guidelines are crucial throughout the spending fast. Additionally, you might want to consider finding additional sources of income, such as side jobs or the sale of unwanted items. You may assess your spending patterns after the fast and make changes moving ahead. You could discover that you were able to save a substantial sum of money throughout the fast, which you can use to reduce debt or increase your savings. Remember that a spending fast is a technique to help you uncover problem areas and develop better money habits rather than a long-term solution. You may take charge of your finances and move closer to your financial objectives by adopting more conscious spending practices and deliberate financial decisions. Investigate strategies to boost your revenue. Finding strategies to raise your income might be beneficial if you're having trouble making ends meet and paying your bills. This can entail launching a side business, getting a part-time work, or asking for a raise at your existing position. Think about your abilities and hobbies while looking for strategies to boost your income. Do you have a skill that people are willing to pay you for? Possibilities exist in your community. Can you take use of them? You might be able to boost your income and get out of debt by using your imagination and resourcefulness. In conclusion, it may be very difficult and frustrating to break out of a scenario where debts are continually building up and you don't have the money to pay them off. To take charge of your money, better your financial condition, and strive toward a more stable and secure future, adhere to these methods, recommendations, and tactics. Never forget that it's never too late to begin your journey to financial independence. With that said, I want to thank you everyone for watching, wish you all the best, and look forward to seeing you in the upcoming video.